Willpower is a horrible thing. And as it barrels towards Easter, and I have the kids this year again, I'm struggling. I'll be honest. It's the start of the Easter half term, and there's a lot of chocolate around, and I'm only just starting to wean myself back onto the Mounjaro. I've been struggling with the dosage over the last couple of weeks. Has it been approved by the GP? No. Should I really be doing it? Probably not. Am I worried that I'm going to put on weight? Yes. Have I noticed that the food noise and the appetite suppression has dropped? Yes. Which is possibly why I'm worried about it all. Now, I've got enough medication in my fridge that I can pretty much self-medicate for a couple of months. Basically, I had a 15 milligram pen already in the fridge before I went in for the gallbladder surgery. So, because I've not been on the Mounjaro for a month or so, 6 weeks or whatever, I've dropped back down and I'm going to titrate back up. But I've yet to reach that point where the body's gone like, whoa, you know what I mean, where it comes to the food. Now, half of you have already confused by the fact that I'm talking about being on the medication again, and half of you are confused by the fact that I'm not wearing glasses. That's because my son likes to take them off. So I've got lots of fingerprints all over my glasses. And I couldn't be bothered to clean my glasses before hopping back on to a webcam. So, yes, the willpower is becoming an issue. And I have seen a little bit of rebound. At the current moment, the weighing scale says anywhere between half a stone and a stone over the course of the last couple of weeks. Now, that's to be expected. That's to be understood. I am eating more. How much of that is contained within me, within poo, I don't know. How much of that is willpower where I could have ate a little healthier? Yes. Since coming out of the surgery, I have self-medicated with the odd takeaway, but since being back on the Mounjaro in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, that's disappeared. So there is an element of the mental games of being back on the medication, but at what point does it fully kick in is the question. Now, today's dose is pretty much 6 milligrams. So we will see. The previous doses were like 3.5. And bearing in mind that I was on 15 milligrams, I'm trying to figure out where it kind of needs to jump back in. And yeah, as I said, there is an element that I'm scared. I am scared because I don't want to lose 7 stone and change my mindset and then have it creep back on. And then, yeah, it's Easter. So there's lots of chocolate, there's kids, there's lots of food knocking about because I look after my kids for long weekends every weekend. So Friday through to Sunday evening, Monday morning, that kind of thing. And sorry, it's that time of year where I sniffle a lot. And my son's got a cough and a cold, so you never know. So it's Easter and there's a lot of chocolate around. I've bought a lot of food so the kids can have food. I'm not really eating it, don't get me wrong. Like, as I said, this is where I think the medication is there, and I think it is starting to curb it. But I have found myself snacking again in the evenings, because it's so easy to not eat all day and then just sit there and snack away. And I need to make a conscious effort of it all, that I can't just rely on the medication. 15, 16 months, I should have learnt by now that yes, the medication will help, but there's also an element of fucking grow up and be an adult and parent yourself. You know, because that's the one thing that you don't really do as a kid. You don't really parent yourself, do you? Look at the beard. The beard. The beard. I'm starting to like it. Makes me look a little younger. What do you think? Beard. I've also dyed it a little bit with some of that henna shampoo type stuff, so you kind of wash it in. Anyway, ADHD topic change there. Yeah, there's a lot of food around. The kids are going to be eating a lot of chocolate at some point, and I also like to make sure that there's food in for them. I don't really eat with them. So this morning they've had chocolate spread on toast because my daughter likes to cook breakfast, and I'm not going to tell her no because it teaches her a skill, you know. But I wasn't fussed by that. I wasn't intrigued by that. I'm very much more of an evening thing where I'd much rather kind of eat afternoon to evening. I think I just need to put my mind back into it a little bit, right? Make some good choices and go from there. Now, I've got the kids for the next 3-4 days. We'll see how it works. I've got a new client that I'm starting with this week, so I'm a little bit nervous. I think that's what it was really the last week or so. That I was going through some client interviews over the last 2-3 weeks, and with me not being on my mental health medication anymore, my antidepressants, I think there was also an element of comfort eating plus having come out from the surgery and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to the surgery in itself, the whole system's fine. My gut's fine. I'm eliminating properly now. Yes, there is some things where I notice that if I have too much, say, milk, or if I have too much fatty stuff, that it does move faster. I had a lovely roast chicken dinner with some roast chicken gravy made out of the juices of the fats, and that moves through me. But that's normally moves through me when it comes to roast dinners anyway. So overall, yeah, I think today's kind of like a not a reality check, more of a checkup. Yes, I'm back on Mounjaro. I'm currently on around about 7 milligrams. Why am I not being more specific? Because I'll be honest, I'm using the last bit of the golden dose, and I've used half of it from a 10 milligram pen or a 12 milligram pen. And the last dose, obviously, in theory, is, you know, your 12 milligrams. So therefore, using half of it is 6 milligrams. I know that it's not going to harm me. I know that it's safe. I know that, as I said, I've got a couple of pens that I know that I've got. If I was to stretch out the 15 milligram pen, then there's at least 2 months there, plus a couple of other jabs that I've, you know, saved in the fridge. So that can tide me over, and then hopefully by then I can talk to my GP, and it would have been 2-3 months after my surgery, and then they can finally green light me. Because at the moment, rather nicely, I must admit, MedExpress won't let me go through the prescription process. And I understand why, because it's safety, right? And I respect that. But I'm also itching. As I said, I don't want to fail at this diet weight loss thing again, because I've gone through this so many times where I've lost a bit of weight and then I've put it back on, right? And I know that there's an element here that I need to sort my own shit out and stuff. Like, no, Alan, don't eat after 8 o'clock in the evening. You don't need to. You don't need to snack. You need to focus on your food. Maybe this is the time where I need to, you know, For the last year, I was just eating when I felt hungry, and the jabs helped me with that. Maybe I now need to start tracking what I am eating and actually calorie counting a bit more. I said I would in year 2. I need to focus more on the macros. I need to be more active. The weather's getting much better, he says, even though it snowed last week. So yeah, I just need to be more proactive in it all, right? Maybe you can help me. Give me a tip down below. Tell me your favorite healthy snack, right? Or if you don't have a healthy snack, just send me some support by saying you can do it. You can do it. And then we can focus from here. But yes, update. I'm a little bit worried. I've crept on about half a stone, maybe a stone at worst. But I've not been on the medication since what? Start of March? No. February 14th I was in the hospital. Happy Valentine's Day to me. Okay, so about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I'd not been on the medication. And then I started titrating back up. So, yes, if you come off the medication, you do put on weight. No, is that because of the medication? No. Was I eating unhealthily? Yes. Could I have been better? Yes. But I'm not going to kick myself about it. I'm going to dust myself off and get back onto the bike and ride that pony like a horse-tickle. Horse-tickle, one of those. So yeah, you can do it. Share me your healthy snacks. And yeah, I'm Alan. I'm losing it again. Are you?